In the early 20th century, Japan stood as an empire on the rise. Rapid modernization and industrialization had transformed the nation into a global power. By the 1930s, Japan's ambitions extended far beyond its borders. With an insatiable hunger for resources and territory, leaders in Tokyo set their sights on expansion across Asia and the Pacific. This ambition, combined with economic pressures and a deeply rooted military culture, would eventually draw Japan into one of the most devastating conflicts in human history, World War II. The stage was set in 1937 when Japan launched a full-scale invasion of China, igniting the Second Sino-Japanese War. Brutal campaigns such as the Nanjing Massacre underscored Japan's determination to dominate Asia. But this aggression drew international condemnation. By the early 1940s, Japan faced growing opposition from Western powers, particularly the United States, which imposed economic sanctions designed to cripple Japan's expansionist efforts. Japan stood at a crossroads, its ambitions tested by international resistance, setting the stage for a conflict that would engulf the world. But Japan wasn't deterred. Instead, it sought a bold solution: eliminate the U.S. Pacific Fleet and secure dominance in the region. On the morning of December 7, 1941, the world watched in shock as Japanese aircraft swarmed over Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. In a matter of hours, battleships were sunk, airfields destroyed, and thousands of Americans killed or wounded. The attack was meticulously planned and executed, a devastating display of Japanese military precision. But while it dealt a heavy blow to the United States, it also marked Japan's entry into World War II and sealed its fate as a Central Axis power alongside Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. Emboldened by their success at Pearl Harbor, Japanese forces launched a whirlwind of offensives across Southeast Asia and the Pacific. They captured the Philippines, Burma, Singapore, and the Dutch East Indies with remarkable speed. For a time, it seemed as though the Japanese Empire was unstoppable, its borders stretching further with each passing month. But the tide began to turn in 1942. In June of that year, the Battle of Midway became a crucial turning point. U.S. naval intelligence had cracked Japanese codes, allowing American forces to anticipate and counter a planned assault on the Midway Atoll. In the ensuing battle, Japan lost 4 aircraft carriers, critical assets that couldn't be replaced quickly. For the first time in the war, Japan's seemingly invincible navy suffered a staggering defeat. This marked the beginning of a slow but relentless Allied pushback. The following years witnessed a brutal campaign of island hopping, as Allied forces reclaimed one territory after another. The battles of Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa were among the bloodiest of the war. Japanese soldiers fought with unwavering ferocity, often choosing death over surrender. Meanwhile, on the home front, Japanese cities endured relentless bombing campaigns, with industrial centers and civilian areas alike reduced to rubble. But the most devastating blows came in 1945. By this point, Japan's position was untenable. Its navy had been all but neutralized, its economy was in shambles, and its people were starving. Desperate to bring the war to a close, the Allies turned to a new and terrifying weapon: the atomic bomb. On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped the first atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima. The explosion leveled the city and killed tens of thousands instantly, with countless more succumbing to burns and radiation in the days and weeks that followed. 3 days later, Nagasaki suffered the same fate. The sheer scale of destruction was unlike anything the world had ever seen. For Japan, the message was clear: continued resistance was futile. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito made an unprecedented move. He addressed the nation directly, announcing Japan's surrender. The formal surrender took place on September 2nd aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. Japan's leaders signed the instrument of surrender before representatives of the Allied powers, officially ending World War II. In the aftermath, Japan lay in ruins. Cities were destroyed, millions were dead or wounded, and the nation's economy had collapsed. For the first time in its history, the country faced occupation by a foreign power. Under the leadership of U.S. General Douglas MacArthur, Japan underwent a dramatic transformation. Its military was dismantled, its empire dissolved, and its government reformed into a democracy. A new constitution drafted in 1947 forever renounced war as a means of settling disputes. Today, Japan stands as a country that has risen from the ashes of war to become a global leader in technology, culture, and diplomacy. But the scars of World War II remain, serving as a sobering reminder of the cost of ambition, the horrors of war, and the resilience of the human spirit. From the attack on Pearl Harbor to the devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan's role in World War II is a story of triumph, devastation, and ultimately, transformation. It's a chapter in history that the world must never forget.